Hey everyone, happy Saturday. Welcome to ACCG. Here today we're going to be talking to you about, we're going to be talking to you about some budget builds and budget builds for the Albaz and the Crystal Beast structure decks. Um, we're making this video here today because, as you all know, the Dark Worlds have gotten a new structure deck, and I figured might as well make a video for that deck, right? So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and give all these solid competitive structure decks some airtime. So budget builds for all of them. So in this video, we'll go over the first two, and then in the next one, expect to see some Dark World budget building. So let's go ahead without any further ado and get into the video for today. Let's do it. All right, everyone. Welcome to the budget build for the Crystal Beast deck. Now, go out, buy yourself 3 copies. You can make the deck that's in front of your face right now. So, it's very straightforward. Um, you take these cards, you apply them, you win. Right? Easier said than done. So, let's go and get into it. So, Rainbow Dragon, of course, you have to play Rainbow Dragon, as well as you have to play the Crystal Beast version of Rainbow Dragon. So, I mean, it says everything it does right here. Um, Guys, I'm not going to explain these cards to you. Don't get me wrong, I can. But coming to this channel is just to, you know what you want to do, you know what you want to build, you know what the cards do, you see them. Oh, that looks good. I know what that does. Well, I'm going to be the guy to help you put it together. So, without further ado, here's the cards. Let's go and take a look at them and why we play the amount of what we do. So we just play 2, and if we play more than 2 of either of these boys, we're getting a little bricky. So we don't want to brick at all. So we're gonna play 2 of each because we need them to do our other combos and other plays. So play 2. We don't want to see them in the opening hand. That's why we play 2. All right. Now, of course, the combo enforcer for the deck, Pegasus. This is the guy you want. You want to see him on your field. You want to see him constantly. This is the card that's going to help you get your plays through. So now, just for the name sake, we're going to play Amber Mammoth. We're going to play Topaz Tiger. Topaz Tiger. All right. We're going to play a little bit of our Cobalt Eagle. Oh, I don't know how Keeper got in here. Just realized this is different. Huh. Well, Keeper's not supposed to be in here. Instead, we will have Crystal Master in here. And now Crystal Master, spelled that wrong. Now Crystal Master, we use him for his effect, not his pendulum effect, because we're not trying to do off any pendulums. If y'all want, then of course do the one keeper, the one master. That's up to personal preference. But realistically, just to get the deck moving on a turn-to-turn basis, and we really want the most out of our turn, we're gonna just play 3 of. We want more consistency when it comes to that sort of thing, you know. So yeah, so we play him for his effect, which this one I'll read for you guys. You can tribute this card, add 1 ultimate crystal monster, crystal beast monster, or crystal spell trap from your deck to your hand. Now this is chef's kiss, right? It's like search anything you need. Go. It's yours. Just get this guy in your hand. This is why we play him at 3. I mean, the pendulum effect, yeah, great, you know, but not worth it. When we're trying to mill out effects and we're trying to get things going and, you know, really match up with opponents that play these tier limit decks, we don't got time for a pretty little, oh, you can't be targeted. They're just going to go right over you and they're just going to, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat, attack directly, get 600 damage on your opponent because it's halved, right? Tortoise, again, all for the namesake, except for this fella. Yeah, we only play 1 of him, but he's a beautiful card for the floodgate. We are going to burst that gate right open. We're just going to put everybody out in the field, and Carbuncle's going to be the one to help us do it. So, we'll take a little Espeon knockoff, and come on, y'all, look at him. That's an Espeon inspired Yu-Gi-Oh card right there. But anyway, yeah, so we'll take him, a little Espeon knockoff, and we'll flood our field with Crystal Beasts. So that's it for the Crystal Beast monsters portion, right? So now we're gonna do a little bit of hand traps here, and we got some effect monsters, right? For that hand trapping. Now these, of course, can be changed out for any truly hand traps, like anything you want might not hand trap, go for it. You got the card to do it. Or if you want to take a more synchro approach with this deck, here you go. You got level 3, so you got level 4s to pair it off with. So level 3 is level 4, that's level 7 synchros, and then you got Rainbow Dragon, so well, you wouldn't really want to use Rainbow Dragon, because I don't think there's anybody that goes that high, right? But you can use your Crystal Rainbow Beast here, and get yourself some really nice synchros with that. But yeah, so these are played for the hand trap essentials, stopping deck searching, stopping graveyard effects, and then of course right below them, Cosmic Cyclone, stopping things like Mystic Mine. Um, these are important cards. Well, Mystic Mine's banned, so praise be to the Yu-Gi-Oh gods. They have finally decided to ban that card. Oh man, long time coming, but here we are, right? So let's talk about our other spells, right? So Crystal Bond, we're gonna play a 3. You want to see this card? It's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, you go ahead and you search Rainbow Bridge, you're searching anything you want. That's a spell or a trap, right? Enable all your plays. Awakening, same thing with Crystal Bond in the sense where you only play it once per turn, but still play it at 3 because you really do want to see it. That one time a turn is going to be incredible. The payback you're going to get. So you want to activate this and get to a lot of neat, grand effects. Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, brand new structure deck card, incredible card. So definitely want to play this at 3. It's a continuous spell, so you take up that one spell spot, but is it worth it? Absolutely. It's dang worth it. It is dang worth it. All right. So Crystal, Ultimate Crystal Magic now. Ultimate Crystal Magic, Crystal, Ultimate Crystal Magic. Oh boy. Getting into our traps. So we play the one copy of this card, and this card helps us get into our fusions, of course. So we'll go ahead and play the one copy of this card, and for another continuous card, we're going to go ahead and play Crystal Conclave. Guys, it's a great card. It's a great card. You're dealing with a lot of cards that here, uh, like pop and you'll be having these weaker monsters. So hey, you might be in a position where you get attacked, and there you go. Crystal Conclave is there to kind of back up, cushion you a bit, or hell, you may even want to be attacked or have that just to activate Crystal Conclave because its effect is so good. So play that, and then of course you have your counter negate here. This card will negate and really be the end all as long as you have crystal monsters at your disposal, right? So your opponent will not be getting their key plays through. Just be mindful that a lot of these cards, like Crystal Miracle, Crystal Bond, these are once per turn cards. So make sure the time you play them is the right one because you're only getting one that turn. So be mindful of that. So that's the main deck right there. And as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. Um, let's go ahead and talk about the side deck. I mean, the extra deck is explanatory. You only get 2 cards for your extra deck. So you're going to be applying, of course, 3 and 3. You never know. You get True King, and you get 3 cards ripped out. Well, guess what? You're playing 3 and 3, so sucks to be them because they're not getting anywhere with that, huh? So the first things first, our extra deck, well, side deck, sorry, our side deck. We're going to be playing some hand traps. I mean, once again, whatever you want, but I think personally our hand traps are our most important cards because there's a lot going on in today's meta, And for a budget build Crystal Beast deck to stand a chance, it's going to need to have a lot of hand traps at its disposal. So if you feel like some of these traps aren't working out for you, if you feel like, maybe you want to cut down Crystal Bond and Awakening to 1, go for it. I don't recommend cutting down your crystals, though, because you need these names. You need these for the effects of your bigger boys. So keep this many crystal monsters, at least as a minimum. Actually, even a maximum. I wouldn't go over this either. This is like the perfect ratio. So you don't want to go over or under this. So yeah, you're going to be good there. So be mindful again of what you're going to add and what you're going to take away. So talking a little bit on our hand traps here. So these are all cards that didn't make it into my main cut. And these are once again, all great cards. But for the flow of the deck to go the way it does, we're going to play it the way we have it. So now with these spell cards, they're all fantastic. If somebody gets knocked out, gets put into the spell trap zone, Crystal Promise will bring him back. You got cards like this one, where you're just putting essentially Monster Reborning these cards, because you could easily get them up to spell from their spell and trap zones very easily. Crystal Aegis, once again, it's like fantastic card for getting monsters out, and in this case, tokens, right? So you're going to go ahead and apply that. If you want some draw power, add 3 of these, right? So draw power is never a bad thing. In this deck, we have it just so that, everything flows pretty well. But hey, if you want some more draw power, rip out 2 more cards, rip out 3 more cards, and throw these in. There is no shortage of Crystal Beasts in this deck. So you will definitely have what you need in order to pull off rare value. So if you want draw power, go for it. Add that in. Crystal Beacon, great card. Essentially, ripping a monster out of the deck, putting it onto your field. Can't go wrong with that, huh? You're going to have monsters in the graveyard, so there's really no problem with that there. We talked about our hand traps. And of course, the final 2 cards. A Crystal Tree is a continuous, and Crystal Release is equipped, so these will be taking up your spell trap zones. So be mindful if you're going to add them. These are the last cards I would add. And yeah, the Crystal Beast really focuses on its flooding from the spell and trap zones, right? So you really don't want to clog those zones. You want to keep them open. And we already play some continuous stuff in this deck. So try to limit that to maybe 2 or 3 continuous cards in your build. You don't want to go over 3 of your 40 card deck of continuous. Because if you do, you're clogging up your deck, and you're gonna see less results because of that. Less monsters you're gonna be able to play. So let's talk about our final side deck traps right quick. So an extra negate, because hey, you can never go wrong with that. Boon to help us recover some life points. Card's great. And of course, a crystal pair. So that's pretty much it for this budget build, right? Everything's pretty explanatory as to why it's in here. I don't need to further break down as to why I have the numbers at why I do. I personally feel like adding continuous is a disaster for a spell trap monster kind of deck. Um, Cards you see limited to 2, like these ones, you don't want to see them in your opening hand. You play the 1 of each of crystals because you need the name. Carbuncle is a beautiful flood for your field. Searches any card you need. Limits your opponent. Again, fantastic card. It's like a Rhoda, honestly. Reinforcement of the army, right? So it's like a Rhoda, just better. So this will search any spell trap you need. More hand trap. Awakening and Rainbow Bridge of the Heart are just powerful spells. And you'd be remiss not to add them at 3, even if one of them is only 1 per turn. So you can only activate 1 per turn, but 1 per turn is going to do some damage, I'll tell you that. And that's it. Just play a handful of traps here. Again, you don't want to go over. I can't stress that enough. For a spell and trap deck, you do not want to go over the limit for your spells and traps. And yeah, that's it. That's it. That is it. You don't want to go over that limit of continuous, because then you don't want you have your zones clogged. I'm gonna keep repeating that because of how important it is for this deck. And I mean, hey, when it comes to your extra deck, here's all to be said about them. These man's crazy. Okay, what's that, like 11,000 attack, right? You can go right through any kind of monster your opponent has and ultimately win. Like 3,000 from 11,000 is 8,000. So I mean, most monsters you see are not exceeding 3,000 these days, with the exception of Dinos, the Tyranno, and other 3,200 monsters. But other than that, Rainbow Overdrive will win you the game in one shot. That's a little JoJo reference there. So, Rainbow Overdragon, I mean, he gets you into Overdrive, so that's really it. And that's it, guys. So that's it for the budget build of Crystal Beast. I was excited to put this together for you today because Crystal Beast, Topaz Tiger, Crystal Beast, Mr. Anderson there, it has been a very long time favorite for a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players since the GX era. So, hope this video helped. Well, this chunk of the video. We're gonna go ahead and get into 2 more decks right after this one. So, hope this video part helped. Um, you understand what and what you don't want to see. And once again, do not clog your spell and trap zones with this deck. Watch yourself with your continuouses. Alrighty, that was the Crystal Beast portion. Let's go ahead and get into the Albaz portion. Let's go. We're going to be looking at what this deck does in the competitive scenario. So, first thing you're going to probably notice is we're playing a lot of these 4-star starters, and this is because, honestly, guys, we're going to want to see our branded fusion in our opening hand as much as possible, and these 3 cards here, Spring and Kit, Keeper of Dragon Magic, and Summoner Monk, will make that happen at a very high percent. So we're going to see that happening. So we play these at 3. They're fantastic starter cards. Keeper Dragon Magic, discard a card. Search Branded Fusion, boom, already. On summon, Spring and Kit's going to allow you to, of course, add that card that you need to your hand, the branded spell. So you already know where you're going with that. And Summoner Monk. So these are all cards that are going to help you get your Branded Fusion into your hand, and you're just going to be able to use it and secure yourself a Mirror Jade probably by the time all is said and done. Now, what I will say is, even though these are 1-card, 2-card combos, make sure you save these Branded Fusion plays for last. You want your opponent to negate cards that are going to stop you from getting other plays out, which is okay. You want Branded Fusion to go through. So play through negates as much as possible, save Branded Fusion for last. Try to play your Private Extravagance first, let them try to negate that. Try to play something else first, let them try to negate that. You want to keep the play that guarantees Branded Fusion. So, now that that's said and done, I want to talk about the technical build of the deck. You'll see there's only 1 Albion, only 2 Fallen with Albaz of all things. They're bricks. That's the bottom line of it. They're bricks. You don't want to see them in your opening hand. You want to maximize seeing Keeper, Spring and Kit, and sometimes Monk. But these 2 are the ones you want to see because these are guaranteed new cards. Now, I mean, Monk, yeah, I mean, he does let you special summon them, but it's better to just get them straight away. All right. So now we're gonna look at some of the hand trappy kind of aspect of this deck now. So Mercuria, he works well with Golden Sarcophagus. He will allow you to negate. Ghost Ogre, not really a negate, but more of a destroy an ongoing effect that's on field. And if your opponent tries to do something on your main phase, effect failure. So very straightforward. The other reason why we're playing these particular 6, not just because they're in the deck, is because they are light monsters. It's important for Albion to be able to go through with those light cards. If you all want, somewhere down the line, uh, I have a little Blue Eyes build I put together using the light monster spots, which is 6-card spots. So it's a little bit of fun to play here on the EDO Pro. So maybe we get enough likes, I show it to y'all. Of course, it's not anything crazy, but it is fun to play. It's fun to have my Blue Eyes White Dragon out in the field. It's like Charizard for Yu-Gi-Oh! All right. So yeah. Anyway, so into our spells. Brandon White, an additional fusion spell, helps you get some fusion monsters out as well. The main card of the deck, Branded Fusion. Extravagance, first thing you do on your turn, draw some cards, get some things going. Brandon Bond, only play at 1, I feel. Up to personal preference, of course. But they're just better cards than Brandon Bond. Sarcophagus, you can play to 1 anyway, along with Call by the Grave. Good way to secure some plays in the future. Call by the Grave, God card, essentially. Negate your opponent's Ash Blossom or whatever, and win the duel. That's it. So, Brandon Lost, play it at 2, warning point, and there can only be 1. Good staple trap cards. Play them at 2. Of course, they can be moseyed around. Any of these really trap or hand traps can be moved around. Even Mercury could go down to 1, even none if you find better combinations. And that will free up, of course, the Golden Sarcophagus. So, Screams, of course, is there as well. This is another card to be traded out in the future for better cards. And Branded Sword, of course, another one. I mean, Branded Sword does set up an OTK, but I mean, there are just better ways to go about playing this deck if you want to put in the money to it. Now, at the end of the day, this deck is a 1.5 on the tier list at best. Sadly, that's just the way it is. Tier Elements outpaces this deck. It's got great cards in it, fun cards too. But I mean, I would suggest putting in some cards that have been let loose off of the Forbidden list, like Fissure for one, and hope you can work something out with that. You know, there are tools now to best tier elements, and each deck can incorporate them. They are very easy tools to put into any deck, which is why they were banned in the first place. But this deck, as it is, well, not this particular variant. This variant, let's be dreadfully honest, it's a budget variant, maybe 2, tier list 2. But yeah, here I am putting down the deck that I'm showing to you guys. But I'm just trying to be honest with all of you. You know, if you're coming to watch a video on a deck that you want to build, you should know where the deck stands, its best ability, like what it could do in the meta, and how to build it. So yeah, so hopefully, looking at the main deck and looking at the side deck, you see other cards here. These cards are all just personal preference cards. Like if you want to play Albaz a 3, go for it. I don't recommend bumping Albion beyond 1. If you want to, instead of like 3 Sprine, play. Oh man. Well, this is not a kids video anymore. But so yeah, you want to play Titanic Lad or Brigand the Glowy Dragon, the Glory Dragon. Wow, eh, interesting names for these cards. I mean, I think that's probably the stock name. Am I right? But wow, wow. Okay, so yeah. Again, these are all personal preference cards, and it's up to you as to what you want to do, what your preference is. So with that, we're gonna wrap this up. I mean, extra deck, very straightforward. Albion into Lebellion into Mirror Jade. There are other plays that will incorporate Brandon and White and Brandon Fusion in one turn, which will allow you to get right over Lubellion and go straight into Mirror Jade from Albion instead. But you know, it's all again up to how you want to play your deck, how you want to see it perform. Just be mindful that Brandon, even though a fun deck like Crystal Beast, is not a tier 1, tier 0 deck. It isn't. It sadly isn't, unless they release some kind of god card here in the future. for this deck. This is just what it is. So, hey, I mean, I hope this video has been informative to all of you, and I hope you guys picked up something. And with that, I guess we're through. Let me end the video before we go way over the time. Wow. Remember to like and subscribe. Let YouTube know that this is a video worth watching. And from the top rope, elbow drop onto that bell and give it a good ring for me. Guys, this is ACCG. See you all on the next one. Take care.